What's up, guys? I'm here with C. Doan, and I'm here at his new academy in Gainesville, Georgia, Alliance BJJ Gainesville. If you guys are in the area, please check it out. You know, C's a very technical guy. He's been training for a long time, even though he's brown belt. You know, he's black belt level in technique. So if you're looking for to start jiu-jitsu in this new year, please check him out, and we'll link his info somewhere. Okay. So today we're gonna work stack pass. I saw a lot of people had questions with stacking, and you know, I went through a phase where I was stack passing a lot, so it'll be cool to get my take on it. Okay. So I'm just gonna demonstrate the move we're gonna work on, and then I'll show you like situational, like, okay, when the guy does this, you do that. Okay. So I like to do my stacking. Traditionally, we would do stacking like double unders from like one of these types of positions where you had to like stay here, the guy's kind of kicking you in the face and he's kneeing you in the face, he's punching you, and then you somehow have to get him off his hips. Okay. And that's the old school style. You'll see some guys still play that style. I know Celsius Vinicius was like super well known for that. He would get in there and kind of almost do something enough to get like an advantage and not get called for stalling. But it uses a lot of energy, so that's not my style of passing, especially if you're going against guys with heavy hips. Once their hips are on the mat, you're not gonna have a chance of getting their hips off the mat. So my strategy is to kind of force them in a position where they give up their hips off the mat. Okay. So I like to start my stacking a lot of different ways, but for today we're gonna look at a one-arm throw. Okay. So typically a one-arm throw is, we're gonna do it from spider guard later, but just to show it, I'm gonna control one of his legs, his pant legs on the outside. I don't wanna go too high up. Let's turn this way, see? Yeah. I don't wanna go too high because it's pretty strong here, but say before I start to throw, he starts looping his leg somehow, you know, it's gonna be very hard, okay? So I like to go on the pant, kind of making like a fish hook grip. Guys, don't put any of your fingers or thumb in that inside the gi. Try to keep it outside the gi, and it kind of makes like a wall against his leg. Okay, so I'm here, I'm going to throw his leg. When I throw, it's just like any kind of throwing motion. I'm not just going to use my upper body. I'm actually going to use my legs to position myself to the side. Okay, so I do like a little side step. And if you've ever seen any of my like footwork DVDs or instructionals, you know, I can lead with my front leg and then back leg and then throw, or a little bit quicker if I go with my back leg first and then go with the front leg second. So here and throw. If he doesn't do anything, it's fine. I can just kind of take that space. That's typically going to happen when the guy's tired, but you know, usually the guy, if he has good retention, he's going to try to bring his hips back over. So I'm here, I go to throw. He's going to try to bring his hips over. Okay. From here, there's two different ways. If he just crosses over like that, that's fine too. I'm just going to lean forward, and then my free hand's going to grab his hip, and I just keep walking him until I stack him. Okay. From here, there's a lot of different ways to finish this. The easiest way to do this is going to be to let go of the pant, keeping the hip, and I'm going to go with like we call this like a paper cutter grip, where I go in front of his face instead of going like behind the head with like a cross face. I go right in front of his neck, like I'm trying to choke him out, and then I get my forearm onto his neck, and now all I'm gonna do is put all my weight and my head into his hip as I walk back. Okay. If he's lazy, man, I keep going. Okay. Let's look at that again. So there's two main ways he's going to recover. So C kind of, when I threw, he kind of brought his leg over immediately. But if I do like a big throw, I'm going to throw a little bit harder. He has to like invert, okay? As he goes to invert, I use my knees behind his back, okay? And now if he tries to push back into me, he's gone, man. That's it, man. Okay? I can do the same kind of setup. My free hand controls his hip. I like to go more on the butt crack. You'll see this a lot with guys that do the crab ride. They control here, and sometimes I'll control more on the hip. It's just preference, okay? Whatever keeps him stacked. From here, the hand on the pant goes into that paper cutter grip. Here, and now all I do, I like to even get my head onto his thigh, and I put all my weight onto his hip, okay, guys? Nice and tight. Okay, so that's the move by itself. Now we're gonna look at it from in a guard perspective, okay? So say he has like a spider lasso guard. We'll look at spider lasso and just a spider guard. First, let's look at spider guard. So traditional spider guard here, you know, back in the day, we would just come here, try to throw off. And that stuff works too. But the guy has really good hips and, you know, long legs. It's very hard to move. And again, I mentioned the guy might have heavy hips. In that case, it's really hard to get his legs going back, okay? So I'm gonna loop one side. When I say loop, that means I go under, releasing my pant grip under, and all I need to do is kind of block that leg off my bicep, okay? If I stay here and keep that foot on my bicep, it's gonna be tough to do much, but I'm just gonna loop my hand under, okay? And there's different ways to loop. Sometimes I'll come in tight, sometimes I'll kind of come up high. You need to play around with that, okay? But I'm mostly trying to let go of his pant, and I wanna bring my wrist as low to his ankle as possible, okay? And knock it off. From here, I'm gonna block it, so try to get your leg back in. It ain't gonna happen. And now I go into that leg throw, okay? Again, I can go lead leg first, back leg second, and then throw, 1. Or 2, I can go with my back leg first, and then lead leg second. So that was a little bit quicker. You know, footwork is something we don't talk too much about, but you can try both, okay? Here, he goes to retain his guard. I'm gonna follow him, keeping my knees against his back, grab his pant, and I use that to keep pushing him. And I want him to be very uncomfortable, guys. It's not very fun, so I'm gonna make him pay for it. Make him pay in this position, so go slow, don't go fast. When you try to rush this position, you're gonna let the guy flip out of it. But I actually wanna kind of keep him in this position as long as possible, okay? From here, the hand that was on the pant goes in front of the neck, paper cutter grip. So I'm going my thumb inside and forearm onto his neck. It's not very nice, okay? From here, guys, I'm gonna put all my weight into his hip. If he's very flexible, like I just can't get that space, that will happen too. That will happen too. So I'm gonna let go of his pant while keeping my knee against his back. And look, I go with my hand in front of his hips, and I use that to spread him out. Okay. So that was a spider guard. Let's look at the spider lasso. So it's the same move. The end part's the same. It's just the guard might be different, okay? So one more time. Let's have you switch again. This time he's gonna have a shallow lasso. I'm gonna do a very similar movement. This time, I'm gonna loop on the lasso side, okay, guys? So I'm gonna let go of his collar, loop out here. If I can, I'll keep my hand here. Otherwise, I'll try to turn it and re-grip. And now I can actually throw on either side, okay? So I could actually throw that way or that way. If you want, while you're looping out, I get here, I can just go immediately to that throw, and I'll just do the other side. So you want to be ambidextrous on this move. He starts to turn. Once I'm here, it's like it's not over, but I can cook him so long, I don't even need to rush this. You know, his main defense is going to be to go to his knees, like a backwards roll, which is fine. I just follow him to the side, or the back, and then I start attacking his back, okay? Let's look at that one more time, see? Let's scoot back a little bit. So shallow lasso, I'm here. I go to loop this arm out. If I can free this arm, that's fine, and then I can go back to this is spider guard, right? And I can loop out, or I can just throw back the way I did earlier. Or while I'm trying to loop this arm, maybe I get stuck here, I can just loop or throw to the other side. Okay. So guys, that was just a throw into a stack. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, instead of me just trying to lift his hips off the mat like a deadlift, but starting here. I use my throw to set up the position. I make him lift his hips off the mat, okay? And so that's good guard passing. You put the guy in a bad position. The best guard passers, they put you in a bad position and you're like, man, I don't want to do this, but I got to do it. And then you get caught, you know? You get caught with your hand in the jar. You're just like, oh, no. And, you know, at black belt, it's just like a game of inches. Like, I know exactly, I'm waiting exactly for that right time. I'm waiting, boom. And so whoever can plan ahead, whoever knows their game better is probably going to do better. All right. So, C, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Alec.